Hotep Senuhena Senut Itiren Ishakandugu Kemet. I hope you're doing well. As usual, I'm going to check the sound to make sure you can hear me loud and clear. Just give me a moment. There's the stream. Oh snap! I don't hear any sound. I don't hear any sound from the stream. Let me try it on the mobile phone.
Real talk, Simon M. Want to ensure your house doesn't get robbed while you're out?
Microphone check 1 2. Microphone check 1 2.
Microphone check 1 2.
Well, it does work there on the application. So why doesn't it work on the actual page here? It's a bit funny. 1 2. Microphone check is strange. Well, probably on the application it works, and if there's no sound, then I'm pretty confident that someone will let me know. So I hope it's gonna be okay. So the title of this video is it bothers me that I don't hear it on the actual computer. The title of this video is Were the Ancient Egyptians Caucasians? Chief X and I can discuss it. Now, I will not act like, okay, Chief X didn't come, so, he avoided the issue. Not at all. Not at all. We spoke today for the first time ever on Smash Rockwell's platform. And he stated that as far as he's concerned, the ancient Egyptians were Caucasians. And I will also play and give you the source as usual. But before that, I'm wondering if I should make this my new intro.
I don't believe in old Egyptian gods. I don't believe in that stuff. I wasn't even taught that bullshit, right? I'm the one who bangs against the Kemetics. I bang against them and they can't get through me because the gods that they worship, right, were born from another group of thinking, right? So you can't come with me with no goddamn Heru or no other that bullshit. Show it to me in the primary, show it to me in writing, show it to me in the period. You're making the bullshit up.
I'm still worried. If you don't hear me, let me know. I hope I'm not going to make a live stream for nothing, realizing that, there was no sound. So let's go in order. You see, even some people that I'm not best friend with, I've shared the link to their channel or video, so you can go and see it for yourself. But you have some other people, nah, don't recommend him. Nah. So this is Smash Rockwell's live stream. I was on today. Now, for those who don't know, I reside in Europe. So for those who are in New York, then that was yesterday, because it's like 4 minutes past midnight. Okay? But for me, it was today, it was in the morning, just before I headed for work, because I do work at 9 to 5. I do work full time. I'm not financed by people who bend over and get spanked in the booty. So you can see Smash Rockwell's live stream is entitled, Did Egypt Influence Christianity? And you have the link. So this is in the chat. You can click on it and get there. That's his latest video and his latest live stream as well. So I will let you listen to something real quick first. timestamp is hour 3 minute 49 seconds 05.
Then if you accept that, then you are no longer a vanguard of Kemet.
I understand.
And that's when I have a trouble now because it doesn't. I don't hear the sound from my computer on my headset. So let me see if I can fix that because I need to know where to stop. So if I go there, sound. I'm gonna do this. Bear with me. There's no rush. I hope it's gonna fix it. I saw some people prefer to use Macs. I don't think he has fixed anything here. Preview. I don't have anything. Bear with me. I'm in my car. When I'm at home, I use a different headset and everything's all good. Has that changed anything? I'm gonna open another page and see. Oh, it can be annoying sometimes. It looks like the only solution would be for me to no longer use my headset. Okay, I'm gonna try it without the headset then. It's okay. It will allow you. It will give time for people to come in. I don't want to start another live stream, so
Okay. I think that now you should hear me. So I'm going to check.
One.
Microphone check 1 2. Microphone check 1 2. Microphone check 1 2. Okay, that's beautiful. So now I can hear it all. We do have Jesus Price in the place to be. Greetings to you. Oh, actually, you're the one who told me about Chief X. You see, I don't know if you've seen that, but we actually got to talk. I've shared the link here. You see, for the first time ever, we got to talk. You know, it was nice. It was cordial. We have opposing views, but you know, we are grown men and diplomatic, so it's all good. Other people can act that way, but you know, it is what it is. You know, there's many people that I've spoken to who don't share the same views as me. You know, over the years, you know, it happened many times. You know. So, yeah, let me go back to what I shared earlier. And he will indeed, I checked the link afterwards. Yes, indeed. So, oh, we have a I am that I am also hooked up to you. So let me share. Okay, so I'm sharing once again that Smash Rockwell, that's the name of the YouTube channel, did Egypt influence Christianity? It's a clickable link that will appear in the chat. I'll cut my mic off so there's no echo.
This kingdom, right? Then if you accept that, then you are no longer a vanguard of Kemet.
I understand the argument. I feel you on that. And I thank you for the discourse. And I want to see the rest of this presentation when we can. We're going to let my eye get his point across. All right, you got anything to say? Even though Reggie say he ain't talking to you, you want to talk to the rest of us in the YouTube world about the document?
He can act like a device, okay? Now, for the record, in the chat, I've shared the link to the pyramid text of Una. Okay, as you can see, the internet connection is playing up, but it shouldn't last long. He said that Heru is Greek. Okay. I had some connection issue. I want to make sure. I'm sorry. It's out of my control. I prefer to live stream when I'm at home, but I want to get this out the way. So if Chief X happens to be, if Chief X happens to be available today, now he's in LA, from what I understand. So that's like 3 hours behind. There's a 3 hour difference, 3 hours difference with New York. So New York time, like, 3 p.m. EST, 3 p.m., 4 p.m. New York time. If you happen to be available, Chief X, then let me know. Leave a comment in the chat, and we can talk. I'm not gonna call that a debate, just us talking, just like we did, on Smash Rockwell's YouTube account. I was driving, what I'm saying, so I'll be more relaxed at home and all that, Now let me see if you can hear me though. YouTube account. I was driving. Okay, yes. Okay, that's good. So I'm going to go back to share. No, it's not that one. It's not that one. I don't think I need that one anymore. Okay, that's this current live stream. I don't need that anymore. Remove that. Too much noise. So it's not the one. Well, I'm gonna go in the chat then. Okay, here's the video. Okay, so refresh and I'm gonna share.
When it was Kemet, Black Egypt was a now valid civil Black Egypt. Like and subscribe, Black Egypt.
We're gonna get there. We're gonna manage. So what was the timestamp? It was 3:49:05. I've shared the link. Okay, it's in the chat. 3:49:05. Keep the comments going. I'll go through them afterwards. So actually 3:49:07, doesn't make a huge difference.
You accept that, then you're no longer a vanguard of Kemet. I understand the argument. I feel you on that. And I thank you for the discourse. And I want to see the rest of this presentation when we can. We're going to let my eye get his point across. All right, you got anything to say? Even though Reggie say he ain't talking to you, you want to talk to the rest of us in the YouTube world about the document?
He can act like a device, okay? Now, for the record, in the chat, I've shared the link to the pyramid text of Unas or Unis, and I also shared the Britannica article that shows that Unas lived around circa 2400 to 2300 BC. I don't even think the Greek language existed. Brother Reggie said that Heru is Greek. So he spoke for half an hour, reaching to the preaching, and he did not validate his point. But Smash, if you don't mind, can you please ask Reggie if he's Kemetic? Can you just ask him, Brother Reggie, are you Kemetic? Just out of curiosity, I would like to know his answer.
I'm about to translate for Reggie. Hey, you heard him, Reggie. You heard him. Do you want to answer or not? You don't want to answer that, Reggie? He asking, are you Kemetic, for the sense of a debate?
No, Smash, you are asking him.
Oh, okay. All right, Reggie, are you Kemetic?
No, I'm a descendant of West Africa, and I study ancient Egyptian culture. And
You already nailed it, Reggie. You already
right.
answered. You got it.
So I am not a member of a cult called the Kemetics. All right.
So look, y'all can.
Okay, so you've heard it for the record. Reggie stated out of his own mouth that he's not Kemetic. He said, I'm a West African. It's funny. This, we're from West Africa. There's some brothers who have their platform. They love to say that. They love to discriminate people as well every now and then. But to each his own. Whatever stance a person has, that's fine. But once Garfield is going to get destroyed, if the debate happens, it'll be interesting to see some people say, oh, no, actually, I'm Kemetic. What I meant was, according to the alignment of the sun with the stars and the planets, when I say I'm not, it derives from the Old English, it derives from the Greek, and you did not understand me, you're misquoting me. You're evil. You're not mad. All right? So we got that out of the way. Now, I want to show to Chief X the message that I left on this platform. Actually, you know what? I'm going to share the link as well. So the title of that's his latest video. Chief X versus pseudo killers, Aku and merchant traveler. Parenthesis, Sat Night live freestyle. Okay. I'm going to share the link. Okay, so this is in the chat. All right. So now I'm going to share the comment that I left. Take the phone call later on. Oh yes. So here, 2 hours ago. What if I refresh them? I said 3 hours ago or 4. I don't know. I'll refresh the page. So yeah, 3 hours ago. See, not forever. Peace. I went to subscribe only to realize I was already, and I put a additional A. I was already a subscriber of yours. That's what I meant to write. There's obviously some typo. So now I can share the excerpt of our first ever conversation, Smash Rockwell's platform. The video is called The Conception of Heru - Research. And as usual, I'm going to share the link. There it is. See, it's in the chat. So I'm going to share, and I'm going to tell you the timestamp. And keep the comments going. I will go through the comments, brothers and sisters. So the timestamp here is 1 hour 1 minute 21 second 42. And I'm going to mute my mic first to make sure there's no echo.
So don't take me out of context. You my brother. I love you, and that's about it. The other issues are what the issues are. But when you have people lying on me and taking me out of context, F them.
I got you. I appreciate that. Hey, when you got time.
I actually forgot this timestamp. I wanted you to hear Reggie. Just yesterday, he told me F you twice. Then he said F him. Then when I responded, I said to him, I'm not your enemy. I let that slide. We can communicate in a better manner. We briefly spoke. And later on, because he spoke for 4 minutes, throwing shot as usual, trying to mislabel me, I interjected, or if you want, I cut him off. A huge crime that I have committed. And he said, somebody said, you know, let him finish. And I just asked, how long is it going to be? Because once again, he spoke for half an hour to answer a question. That's documented. And he said, hey, yo, F you. All right. So he had the time to sleep. I don't think he remained awake, sorry. So even after he had time to sleep, the great scholar, bag carrier, photocopy maker, coffee and tea maker for all the greats, because that's what he did for decades, you know, he still maintained his stance. The other people F him. So we can see how wise our brother Reggie is. He has wisdom. And it appears that he did not only serve the tea and coffee to all those greats for decades, but that he consumed a lot of coffee. And I heard that the caffeine, you know, that the coffee makes you nervous in the long term. And people who don't have their coffee, when they are used to have coffee on a regular basis, they tend to be nervous. So maybe we can blame that on the coffee. Maybe it was not the Greek coffee. Maybe it was not the Nile Valley coffee. So it's not his fault. I'm the troublemaker. I'm the bad guy. Those guys are wise and civilized. All right. So when I spoke with Chief X, in summary, it's timestamp 155:44. $155.44. Can you hear me loud and clear, brothers and sisters? Can you just type loud and clear if you can hear me well? Or no sound? Well, if you type in no sound, it means you heard me. But, you know, just, you know, if you can type in loud and clear or whatever, however you want to word it. So what was it? 155:44. I'm going to mute my mic to make sure there's no echo. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Now, Jerome Towns wrote no. I don't know what he means. But please clarify what you mean. But Jesus Christ. Jesus. Oh, you know what? Hold on. Some of you might not know. Some of you might not know. The same guy who said Kemet is the greatest.
Kemet is the greatest empire in history. You don't need to compare. If anybody want to compare, like, we trying to get to Kemet level. Kemet is number one. So we comparing it to other religions is basically saying, hey, we could compare with them. No, we got 3,000 years of documented history. Show me a culture that could show you that. Sumer can't do it. Mesopotamia can't do it. Assyria can't do it. Persia can't do it. The Greeks can't do it.
So when he came on my platform, Kemet is the best, the greatest civilization in history. But then, when he can no longer conceal, got that phone call again. That's what he says. Where is it? There it is.
Come on, bro. Why you can't be balanced for one day? Jesus. Oh, man.
And then he calls for help from Jesus. He's not a Christian. He's calling for help from Jesus.
Ouais, en fait, je suis déjà parti, j'ai fini tôt.
Tu travailles demain à 5h?
Alors, je vais te dire ça. Juste un instant.
Ok.
Alors,
Demain?
demain. Ah non, demain, je suis à l'OFPRA. Mais toi, tu es à la cour que le matin?
Demain matin, oui.
Ah non, mais je veux dire maintenant, là. Là, tu as fini?
Non, mais maintenant, j'ai fini, ouais.
Ah, ok. Et l'après-midi, tu n'es pas à la cour?
Non, toi, tu es à la cour?
Non, moi, je suis dans une PMI, en fait.
Ok, demain après-midi ou dans la
En fait,
semaine?
demain, je fais toute la journée à l'Opra. Mais toi, tu es à la cour demain, c'est ça?
Oui, je suis à la cour demain, matin.
Le matin. Bon, peut-être si je finis tôt, puis on trouvera un moment de toute façon. Mais sinon, vendredi,
jeudi,
je fais la journée à la cour.
Jeudi ou vendredi, est-ce que tu es à la cour?
Vendredi, toute la journée, je suis à la cour, ouais.
Ok, vendredi. Et jeudi?
Jeudi, pour l'instant, j'ai pas de vacances. Ah ben non, c'est la rentrée, j'emmène ma fille à l'école, c'est pour ça que je travaille pas.
Ok, ça marche.
Mais vendredi.
En fait, il y a un collègue de presse qui est toujours là à la scène dernière. Si je lui donne, et comme ça, il te remet à ma propre.
Non,
parce que je retirais l'argent.
Non, mais je préfère que tu me donnes toi. C'est mieux que toi-même tu me donnes. Ouais.
Ça marche,
de toute façon, bon, on essaiera de se.
Ou demain, tu termines tôt, soit si on se rejoint
voilà.
soit à Val de Fontenay ou soit à Vincennes.
Ouais, voilà, on trouvera quelque chose. Ok. Merci. Hein. Bloody hell. When you play an audio, audio or video, you are automatically muted. So because I saw the mute symbol, I was like, okay, I'm on mute. But obviously, once the clip stopped, I actually stopped the clip. I was no longer muted. So good thing it was in French, so if you didn't understand. But anyway, so all this for you to hear how he screamed out Jesus. So when I saw the username Jesus Price, I was like, okay.
Come on, bro. Why you can't be banned for one day? Jesus. Oh, man. And then he calls for help from Jesus. He's not a Christian. He's calling for help from Jesus.
Resurrect.
All right. So let's listen up now. Is the screen sharing? Yes. Okay. Let's listen up now. And I'm going to mute my mic.
Individually, but culturally, we wouldn't know if he was accepted as an Egyptian or not using DNA.
I agree with the cultural thing.
And so in summary, Chief X, you're maintaining that when we talk about ancient Egypt, between the first dynasty, circa 3000 BC, until let's say
what dynasty?
Well, the first dynasty, 3000 BC, all the way until the Assyrians took over 600 BC. Do you maintain that there was no Black African ancient Egyptians?
The ancient Egyptians are Caucasians. That's my stance.
Okay, so from 2000 BC until today, right?
Pre-dynastic times up until now.
I get it.
My stance is the modern day Egyptian is the ancient Egyptian.
Okay, thanks a lot for your answer. Hey, brothers, I'm gonna leave y'all. Thank you for having me. I'm heading to work now. Good build, Take care, brothers.
All right, go subscribe. Go subscribe, bro, and catch up.
We need to talk, TPX. We should talk.
Go subscribe, bro. You're not saying I'm gonna go subscribe. Are you gonna subscribe right now?
You subscribe to my channel.
I'm asking you, are you gonna subscribe to my channel?
Y'all subscribe to each other channel. How about that?
I'll subscribe to this channel. There's no problem. Now watch this. See how easy to answer that. Are you gonna subscribe to my channel?
Yeah, I will subscribe to you as put an end to this. As I hit the quit button, I will subscribe to your channel.
Okay, so I need you to make a comment on my last video. You don't have to watch it. I just want to know you subscribe. And the way I know you subscribe is if you make a comment.
Well, people didn't know that, but the account that I use to subscribe on people's channel is not my main account.
I know. Why are you hiding?
No, it's not hiding. I've been ever since 2004. I've never been hiding. People know why.
What's wrong with this account right here? The one you're on right here.
Because there's many reasons why it's been like that for years.
Okay, so you can't comment on this YouTube account you're on now that says Shaka. You can't comment.
Oh, I can comment with my main account, but I will subscribe to your account.
Okay, so the way I know you subscribe, listen, the way I know you subscribe is to see a comment from you. I'll be waiting.
No, I can't leave a comment. It won't say that I'm a subscriber.
Oh my God. You're
well, okay, we never get around this, but I'm saying, you know, you can take my word of love for it. I will subscribe to your channel.
Okay, now comment so I know you subscribe. That's all
okay,
I'm
all right, peace, brothers. Peace, brothers.
Christ.
All right, peace.
So as you can see, we spend more time talking about the subscribing stuff. Now, just some clarification. He said, what's wrong with this account that says Shaka? That's the Zoom. That's not the YouTube account, you see? So on the Zoom, it says Shaka Ndugu Kemet, and in parentheses, Ma'a forever. I was driving, mind you, because I wasn't sure if I was already subscribed, you know. But when I went to the now you can understand why I shared that comment that I left on his video with my main channel. But like I said, people didn't know that, you know. But the account that I use to subscribe to channels is not my main account. It's not the Ma'a Forever account. There's many reasons for that, but to make the long story short, I've had many different accounts before. I've had first Afro Styly, just the way it is spelled there without the .com, of course. Then, you know, some Asiatic black man, you know, started flagging my accounts, my videos. So I ultimately had Afro Styly with 2 Y's at the end instead of 1 I. I had Afro Styly with 3 Y's at the end instead of 1 Y. I had the letter I in the beginning, and then Fro Styly, just like iPhone, you know. Then I had history, not mystery, all in one word. And then I had Egypt decoded. And that's when I had 9,000 subscribers. Was it 9,000 subscribers? I think it was 9,000 subscribers. My main video, which is now called Kemet and Ma'at, the original title is Introduction to Kemet. It had 300,000 views in 2016. And in 2016, that account with 9,000 subscribers, 300,000 views on the main video was terminated. So then, late 2016, I created this current account, Ma'a Forever. So I used to subscribe to many different channels, and when I would lose the channel, I would lose all the subscribers. You see? So I figured, okay, let me use a different account. So when I subscribe, if by bad luck I lose my account, then I don't not losing all these channels, because in many channels I could not remember the name and so on. So, you know, that was just, you know, so it's not about hiding at all, you know, people. So it's just a clarification. And I don't take that as a shot or anything like that, but, you know, some people might try to use that against me, but that's a brief explanation, you know. So, yes. So now there was something that I have already shared, brothers and sisters. And it is the Theban mapping project. So I will share the link, and this way Chief X can use it if he wants to. You see? So let me share the screen. So you see, you can type it Theban. Theban is Theban, and then mapping with 2 P's, and then project. So I'm going to share the link in the chat. I made a video about that. I think it's a great tool. So Theban mapping project. All right, so I've shared this in the chat, okay? And we're gonna go into Ramesses III's tomb. Why are we going to go to Ramesses III's tomb? Because we're going to look at what I've used for a thumbnail that you can see on Manu Mpim's website. You see here, I'm sharing the link, and I'm typing in the chat, Manu Empim, and I put in parentheses, Amasis Earth's depiction. Okay, so once again, Cheikh Anta Diop's magnum opus called Nation et Culture. Once again, you have a shorter version called African Origins of Civilization, Myth or Reality. This reproduction by Lepsius is on the book cover. Very powerful book cover. Okay? So we're going to look at the original, not the reproduction. This is the reproduction. So this is Professor Manu Mpim. And it says, this painting from the tomb of Ramesses the third, 1200 BC, shows that's 3,000 years ago, shows that the Egyptians saw themselves as blacks and painted themselves as such without possible confusion with Indo-Europeans. In bracket, it says Caucasoids. Now, I'm aware some people say, well, you know, Caucasian, you know, they might want to say, okay, Caucasian, that's somebody from the Caucasus Mountain. Personally, when somebody says Caucasian, I understand that as a white-skinned person or pale person, because there's a brother in the chat who was arguing that, you know, black people are Caucasian, something like that. You know, I'm saying, was dealing with some etymology and stuff like that. But that's how I understand it. So I'm not tripping on that. You know, I'm not tripping on that. If it's somebody from Asia or any other parts of the world, when Chief X used the term Caucasian, I understand that as someone that is, you know, white skin or pale skin. You know, I don't even think we will have a disagreement on that term. See? Because some people might say, oh no, if you say Caucasian, you mean somebody from the Caucasus Mountain. If it's not somebody from the Caucasus Mountain, then that's not a Caucasian, you know. So, with that possible confusion with the Indo-Europeans, Caucasoids, or the Semites, it is a representation of the races in their most minute differences, which ensures the accuracy of the colors. Throughout their entire history, the Egyptians never entertained the fantasy of portraying themselves type B or D. Now, type B here is labeled Indo-European. Type D here to the right is labeled the Semite. Type A, it says the Egyptian seen by himself, and type C, it says the other blacks of Africa. Now, for those who are familiar with the Mother Nature, this is one of the terms to describe some Nubians, Nehisiu. Okay, or Nehisu. Nehisu, something to that effect. Now for this so-called Indo-European type B, it actually says, I think it should be pronounced Amu. Okay, we have the throw stick, the owl, and the quail chick. The owl is the sound M. The quail chick is the sound U, and the three strokes, which are usually the mark of the plural, usually also is will have the phonetic value U, but here will be somehow a phonetic complement. But you know, I don't want to get into specifics. Now, the throw stick, some people can correct me, but there's a term Amu that means Asiatics, you know. And for the so-called Semites, it might be Chemehu. But anyway, what we are interested with is that term here. We have the mouth, the R sound. Then we have the chord, which is a ch sound, like a combination of a T and a CH, or a combination of a T and a SH. Then we have a seated man and a seated woman, and the mark of the plural. Now, this word is actually remech. The M doesn't appear there. I can't remember which artifact it was, but I have seen remech spelled with the M or the owl. Now, maybe it was the animal rib, but I want to keep this simple. Remech is a term that is usually described as people. And that's the term that the ancient Egyptians will use for themselves. You see? So Manu and Pim talks about this actually. He even shows the actual photograph, but here we can see that, you know, a flash was used most likely, or a lightning was used, you know. But we still see here the R, then the chord, the ch sound, you know, for Remech. But once again, the M doesn't appear on the glyph. You know, it's something very common for that word. All right. Now, I want to see first if he talks about the Nihisiu. I don't want to spend too long because, but you know, there's no rush anyway. You know, I'm used to getting straight to the point, where other people will actually make a build and then reach the momentum on their live stream. But usually I go straight to the point, boom, 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 until okay, let's go to the chat, and then, you know, no participation, goodbye. But I'm not going to stretch it however, so it ends up being a 10-hour live stream because, you know, dang, I mean, people will live stream for 10 hours. I guess they have the time. Well, okay, well, here underneath figure 3, this is Manu Mpim's photo of Egyptians or Remech. Now, he did not put the T on the line, which is the transliteration for Remech, but that's fine. In KV, Tomb KV 11, King Valley 11, and he took it in 1994. It says these photos from the tomb itself clearly shows that 4 of the black-skinned people in the Ramesses III table of nations. If you go on a search engine and you type, you know, ancient Egypt table of nations, you will see this one, and there's another one as well, and we might get to see it later on when I will share from the Theban mapping project. So people in the Ramesses III table of nations seen are in fact the Egyptians as they saw themselves. The ancient artists made their identity known by placing the text in front of each image, as they clearly called themselves Remech, the Egyptians. Any claims to the contrary will be absurd. Okay. And I think that's going to be enough. You know, you have the link. You are free to read the rest. You know. Okay. So now we're going to deal with the Theban mapping project. And it's very simple. You click on Explore. At the right, on the right corner, you have all these tombs. So we go to Ramesses III, which is numbered 11. Okay. Then the menu appears, and you have gallery. You click on gallery. Bottom right corner, it says plus 123. See all. You see? So here we have some parts of what we have seen reproduced. Okay. And like I was saying the first time I shared it, well, here we cannot tell the whole thing, but they say Nubians. They focused on the Nubians, but for a strange reason, they did not bother showing the Egyptians labeled Remech. But it's okay because we have the full fresco or painting. Okay. So you click on plus 123, see all. And the good thing is that I will be able to share the picture directly. So you scroll down a little bit, and I think it appears here. So when you click on more details, that's a direct link to the picture, but to the wall. You see? So I'm going to put table of nations from the tomb of Ramesses III. All right. And now, if I blow it up, if I enlarge it, those, if I'm not mistaken, those are the Nubians. But I might have another picture where we will see better. Now let me go back. There's another one. 123 plus. Now on that one, maybe it's a close-up already. Is it a bit better? Okay, let me look for another one. Oh, my bad. Where should I go? Yeah, click see all 123 plus. So that one, no, this one is not the same part because you don't see the same. So we'll have to work with this one then probably. No, it's not even the one. Okay, well, I'm going back to that one then. Oh no, it's not. I'm sorry. It is that one. Okay. Then more details, and then I'm going to enlarge it. Okay, you click once and you can move around. So, boom. You see that glyph here, that type of bird. That's what we have on the reproduction. Then here we can see the week. On here, you see the week. Here the bird. Then here the three marks. The mark of the plural, the 3 strokes. You see. Here we have the throat stick, the throat stick. We have the owl and the quail chick. The order, however, is a bit strange. And here, and I think they did that on purpose, because what we see here for the Egyptian on the left, you see the skin tone. Here we have the 3 strokes of the plural. Here we have the determinative of a seated person. And on the reproduction, they show the seated man and the seated woman. But here we can only see that one. We cannot see the full thing. Now, if I go on previous, no, we're not sure. So I think they conveniently did that. But if I go back to Manu Mpim's article, maybe we'll have a better view. Manu Mpim. Did I share the right one? Which one did I share? No, that's not the one. Manu Mpim. There it is. Now, yeah, you see what happened? That seated person there, that's the one that we see on the Theban mapping project. Here we can see the seated man. Probably at the bottom we have the seated woman. And then here you have the mouth and the code for the ch. So that's the word that I match. You see? So we have the original. We have a picture on Manu Mpim's website. We have the depiction on the Theban mapping project. So if the ancient Egyptians are portrayed and labeled as the Lemech, and they are the same as the Nubians, how could they possibly be Caucasians? How could they possibly be like the modern day Egyptians? Now, I told you there's another table of nations as well. And this time, they will not have the same skin tone. And I'm talking about the ancient Egyptians and the Nubians. So what I will do is I'll go back. There should be the menu. Okay, I'm going to click here. Okay, yeah, I forgot to go to the right, but it's okay. So explore once again. And I will go to, which one is it again? I think it's Seti the first. So that's number 17, Seti the first. Gallery. And then plus 158 at the bottom. See all. Now that one is a reproduction. It's not the original one. Okay. The original, they tell you, is in the Louvre Museum, Paris. And I filmed that one as well. You know. And because we have time, well, you know what? It's okay. It's okay. Because when I'm going to start being meticulous, you know. Now you see here. However, this one is a reconstruction or reproduction. Okay. So we're going to look for original ones. The actual depiction from the wall. Now, brothers and sisters, look at this one here. Opening of the mouth ritual. You see, this guy has leopard skin. You can clearly see that both of them here, even that one here, and that one was probably a pharaoh, and maybe that's his name here, Menma Atra. Somebody, I don't know what time period it was, has obviously damaged the facial area. But with the crown or headdress, it appears to be an Esu or a king. All right. Now, this guy is bearing the leopard skin, so he's most likely a priest. And look at their skin tone here. It's darker than here. But what do we see here? Even between this one and that one there, we can see that it is fading. The coloring is fading away. So many times we say red ochre, but the red ochre was obviously used for this dark brown skin complexion. Do we have modern Egyptian with that skin complexion? And as a matter of fact, look at the guy with the leopard skin here in the middle out of those three here. Is it shown well? Yes, it is. Look at the guy on the right. You see around the arm here, maybe it's some damage, but look at the one further right. You see the color is either fading away or is damaged, but we have many instances where the color is fading away over time. Now here, look at the legs area. Even here, this is not even the person. Whatever that guy is standing on, which might be the stool anyway, you know, because I forgot which Egyptologist it was, but he made some drawing, and the stool, what we call the stool for the P, got in a reference Q3 for the P sound, it might actually be a mat, you know. So around the legs here, you can see the color fading away. Here, this guy around the torso area, you can see the color fading away. Even around the leg, even around the ear. You see? And for those who don't know, they are doing a lot of restoration of these artifacts in Kemet. You have the pictures, and you probably can find videos where they are actually painting. How do we know what skin tone, what painting they will use, and what result it will be? How do we know if they were painted so that it looks like it was before, or maybe like it looks lighter? But I'm not going to make any accusations. We're going to deal with what we have at hand. This is an original depiction. It's a painting from the wall in the tomb of King Seti the First. Do they look like modern day Egyptians? Do they look Caucasians? You see? And for the record, I'm going to share that in the chat. And I will even put the reference that they have. It's image 16217. So, store pattern, origin of the mouth ritual, scenes 33-35. They're very meticulous with it, you know. I mean, I haven't seen anything for Abraham, Moses, Jacob, But here we have all those references. That pastor that I met from New York, the African-American pastor that I met from New York, told me that the Ark of Covenant has been found and it is in Turkey. How come we don't know about it? See? So you have the link. Now, we're not going to rely on only one depictions. There's so many others. And throughout the years, I've been going to museum and showing you the same dark brown complexion. So this is obviously a reproduction. Now, if somebody tells me those are Caucasians, I'm like, okay, fine. Yes, I agree. You know? But then when we look at how they appear next to the ancient Egyptians, even in the representation, look at this. But hopefully we'll have the ancient Egyptians close to those guys. And by the way, for the record, what do we see here? And I'm puzzled. I'm puzzled once again, just like in the tomb of Ramesses III. The direction of reading here, if we look at the where the man and the woman are facing, it should be read from right to left, but that I don't know, will know. But we have the R, the ch, that's the remech, the seated man, the seated woman, and the mark of the plural. You see? So here, how did they label this here? Horus and 4 Egyptians as one of the 4 races of mankind. Now, even though this is a reconstruction, hopefully we might see the original one. They're saying Egyptians, 4 Egyptians. We have 4 people here, and we have the label Remech, which is what they use for themselves. And that's the same one that we have in the tomb of Ramesses III for the individual who had a much darker skin tone. You see? So we're not just making stuff up just to feel good. We're dealing with the actual scholarship, with the language. We are acting in a scientific manner. Oh, hold on. I have to go back. I was in Seti the first. Seti the first. And then, hold on. Oh, gallery. Gallery. I mean, if you want, it's so detailed. If you want, you can choose where, you see. And, you know, the book of the celestial car is the room J, JE to be precise, you know. I mean, it's so much. But anyway, gallery, see all, and here. That's lovely. Now here you have some ancient Egyptians again. How do we know? Because we have the R, Gardiner reference N35, the ch, the chord. Some people label them other stuff, but the Gardiner reference I would tell you for that symbol is V13. Okay. And then what else? Seated man here. We cannot see it well because in that area, you know, something happened. But this is a seated woman, and we can say about the shape that this is definitely a seated person. And with the hair, we know it's a woman when it's distinguishable. But you will be hard pressed to see the R, the ch, a seated man, and another seated man, you know. And then we have the mark of the plural, you know. And earlier we've seen that, and they describe it as Egyptian. And here, that person here is some sort of Asiatic. Now, if you tell me this guy is Caucasian, I agree. But how can this guy be Caucasian and the ancient Egyptian who has a clearly much darker skin tone, how could he be Caucasian? If the ancient Egyptian, and mind you, look at the skin tone of the guy in the middle, even though it is fading away. On the right, it has faded away more. But on the left, it seems to be even darker than in the middle, and in the middle is fading away already. So once again, when we talk about the red ochre, you know, it's safe to conclude that this is what they've used for their skin tone. And also, before I forget, but I'm gonna say this once again. If the ancient Egyptians, as we see them here, this is a painting, an original from a tomb, you know, and here, I mean, they might have not said it, but you know, that's Heru, you know, but that's a nature, that's a deity. So, you know, we're not gonna spend much time about this, but we can see it has the same skin tone here, but it's still faded away, you know, and at around the legs, it has faded even more, you know. If the ancient Egyptians here are of the ethnic group Caucasian, then what ethnic group should we use for this Asiatic guy right here? Super Caucasoid, super Caucasian. We cannot have the same ethnic group for the two of them, can we? Or are some people going to say, well, those ancient Egyptians are Caucasian with black skin or Caucasian with dark skin? Because for those who don't know, this is what some people used to say. Some historians and maybe some Egyptologists too. Diop quoted so many of them in his magnum opus, Nation Agriculture, which came out, I think, in 1954 or 1955. And many talked about, you know, this dark white race, this dark race of this race of dark Caucasian that civilized and built the ancient Egyptian civilization, man. That's how far they went. So now, about 50 years later, and I know we have some brothers who are setting us back 50 years by saying that Chem doesn't mean black, you know. But now, is anybody going to say, well, you know, these guys with that skin tone, those are Caucasians? You know? Now, before I forget, when it comes to the convention, regarding the red ochre and the yellow ochre, if I put convention, it will surely come up. Or I don't know, skin color will come up. You see that? 2 years ago. But many of these videos were made way before. And I re-uploaded them because I gave you some of the name of the accounts that I had, you know. So this is going to be in French, of course, but, you know, I will translate as we go along. This is the Louvre Museum original artifact, and we're going to go through the depiction. Oh, dang. I don't know how the sound will be because I don't have any headset. Greetings, Louvre Museum, Paris, France. Now, I'd like to show this one. This is a whole family. You can clearly see the phenotype. It's okay because I did not even think that, you know, I made this video in English. So I'm going to mute my mic to make sure there's no echo. Greetings, Louvre Museum, Paris, France. Now, I'd like to show this one. This is a whole family. You can clearly see the phenotype. So some of you might wonder, why is that woman looking yellow while the other males are looking red? Well, if we look at the description, we are told that this is Betchu and his family. It's around 1500 BCE, Betchu and his family. Painted limestone, beginning of 18th dynasty, references there. And it says that the limestone is painted in order to better imitate life. But his painting is conventional. Yellow ochre for the skin of women, red ochre for that of the men. So this is a convention, or this was a convention. This is what I was talking about when I mentioned the skin color in Kemet or skin color in ancient Egypt. And for those who are looking for this artifact, it's just behind one of the statue of Horus, standing this way.
but this is between 1600 BCE.
Okay, so you get the picture. You see? Now, this is the whole statue that South Suteseti used to compare some positions of prayer. Earlier, I was talking with a good brother, Imhotep 360, the Jamaican brother. And at one point, I talked about Isis having a position, and I had my hands like that, but actually it was like that, like mourning position, mourning as, lamenting the passing of a relative. And some people, and I think Seti actually in his video, he had several comparison of positions, you know. So there was the one that many must have seen. Dr. Wesley Muhammad used it as well, because at one point he was talking about Ma'atic Islam, trying to make connections. So you have the one from ancient Egypt where he's laying down, but he might have been drinking because we have some water. And then they put like a Muslim praying, you know, laying down as if it's like the same thing, you know. And Muslims at one point, they go like that when they pray. But Isis is not praying, she's lamenting, she's like crying. But that depiction is in the Louvre Museum. So if I have time, I don't have the membership anymore, but I might just, and I might have filmed it. I have so many videos, I probably filmed it, but I just wouldn't know the title. But this one here, I'm going to share it to you, brothers and sisters, you know, so you can have a look. And I entitled it Color Convention in Kemet. I had a video called Skin Color in Ancient Egypt. And I read that, and some people got it wrong. They felt like, oh, we have the good brother Chris Harris, MVP. How you doing, my brother?
What's going on? What's going on? I've been trying to catch you lately and stuff. Hey, Garfield, can my man Shaka get them bands that you say you was gonna pay if he could prove it? Can he get them bands? Can we get them bands, brother? Can we get them bands? Can we get those bands? You know, see, not only can he prove it, I can prove it also. So Garfield the Great. Okay, that's what I call you, Garfield the Great, because you mad squishy. Can we get them bands, brother? Because I can prove it too. I'll use the translation of Sir Flanders Petrie, etc. And you want to know what else I noticed? Because I've been dying to say this. What he does is he makes these poor arguments such as, can you translate Meter Netter? Can you translate the Hieratic script? Well, can you translate Koine Greek? Can you translate Aramaic? Because see, we're all dealing with facsimile.
Yes.
You understand what I'm saying? So yeah, man, I just want to let them know I can use many different translations and they speak of a virgin birth archetype. See, he's looking for the biblical Greek archetype. No, we could show the virgin birth archetype. I could show you some of the same miracles this man Jesus is performing, done by Heru, who was the son of Asar. I could show you Asar being reborn through his son. It's like easy. Like it's all stolen mythology. It's a stolen legacy taken right out of Africa, Egypt. It's taken right out of Africa, Egypt. And because we didn't know, we now know, and it's almost like we're being persecuted because we know. Yes. That's crazy to me. One minute he's challenging the Hebrew Israelites, saying the Hebrews never existed, but then you're trying to fight and say Jesus exists. I'm like, what's going on here? I'm shocked at Brother Reggie. I am shocked. When I listened, I was like, yo, I'm shocked. Everybody's been texting me about this, like, yo, there is no such thing as the conscious community anymore.
So people text you about what happened lately when he said F you or something else?
No. I saw that show. I'm talking about when he was pushing the Jesus narrative and the John Henry Clark and the Dr. Ben situation. Those were his teachers. Those were his teachers. You don't come off and say, "Oh, they're pseudos." I think this is a dagger squad thing.
I mean, it's not my homie. You know, it's not my friend. But he didn't say they are pseudos, did he?
Excuse me.
Reggie didn't say they are pseudos, right? He didn't say that.
No, he said they were incorrect.
Yeah, but you know, with all fairness, he has the right to disagree with what some of his teachers says. However, it's interesting how diplomatic he is in saying that the sources that they use were not correct. You know what I'm saying? You know?
Right.
But you know, I get what you're saying. You know, it's just sad. It's all of this. You know, is because of his jealousy / hate towards Jabari, and
that's what I've been saying for the longest.
Yeah, and I'm. Go ahead.
Oh no, I'm sorry. It's not that Jabari is wrong. I face the same thing with the debate things. That's why when I quit the Pastor Bennett debate, I felt good. Believe it or not, like man. I kind of felt good about it. Like, yo, I get tired of that. The debates have ruined have in part helped ruin the conscious community because we don't know how to disagree in respect. We don't know how to have a scholastic argument, Shaka.
I wouldn't say that. You know, if the setting was proper, we wouldn't have heard the brother talking to whoever he was talking to. And most likely you wouldn't have left. It's not to put the blame on him. That's not what I'm trying to say. But when other people debate, the setting is on point, period. Now, you came to the debate. You presented some of your information. You refuted verbally some of his information. Then you left. So some people are trying to act like, you know, I mean, it's all good. If myself, I happen to debate and I lose a debate with somebody, would I be less of a man? You know what I'm saying?
No, it doesn't ruin or change who I am. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? And the reason, and one of the things I say in the community, and I don't want to get on the Pastor Bennett debate, is when you're arguing, your methodology has to be correct. It's called argumentation. And when I hear Garfield always make these claims in his echo chamber, which is the Dagger Squad, he always says, can you translate Medunetter? And I'm all like, no, Garfield. You're reading Christian apologetics and you're presenting them to the community. I know that's what you're doing. I can prove it by looking at some of your shows and just replaying it. I'm like, yo, he took that from Richard Carrier. That's not it. And Richard Carrier's arguments are not the greatest arguments in the world. He's trying to prove Jesus existed based on some fake formulation that he made.
But you know, Brother Chris, does Richard Carrier read the Medunetter?
No.
But Garfield he will not ask Richard Carrier, can you read the Medunetter? You see? So
no.
What will Richard Carrier do? He will probably either consult a book or a journal article from one of his peers, from one of his PhD colleagues.
Correct.
Or he might ask directly, you know, he might ask a colleague from his university or another university and say, you know, can you give me a translation of that text? You know what I'm saying? So us people from the conscious community, you know, black people, Jabari or anybody else, now if we quote some other scholars, now we're wrong because we cannot read the text, and you made a good point, and it's good because whenever they make those talking points, you know, if we can refute those talking points, then we might as well say it. And if they repeat the lies, then we have to keep repeating the truth. You know,
right?
They're not reading the Greek, the Hebrew, the Aramaic, so they should chill with saying, "Oh, what about the text? The text." We have translations because now there was one narrative. As a priest, you should know the Medunetter way more. But here, it's not as a priest, it's someone who's going to debate and present information, you know.
Right.
So it's unfair. And I told him, you know, one of the live stream, I said it's a huge double standard because those people are not dealing with the text in their original language, you know. But I am an obstacle to Reggie's premise. I'm an obstacle because I'm familiar with the Medunetter. So him always liking to say, yeah, they don't know the language, He knows he cannot say that with me. So what else is he gonna do? Do all the other things that he does, all the disrespect that he's saying, you know? And I'm like, really, I didn't like him, you know, saying F you and all that. But to me, what was worse to me is this 40 to 50 minutes that he spent trying to refute me without even looking into the information or looking at the source. And when I was asking Garfield, are you going to address the German dictionary? And I forgot if I asked a question to Reggie, But Reggie now, you know, he takes half an hour to answer questions. So any, you know.
Yeah. Well,
it's just
you know, like I said earlier said, there's definitely some type of agenda going on. And when you have other mythicists scholars running around saying, hey man, these stories of Jesus can be found in other civilizations and other religions, they can be found. Why are you running around saying that they're lying? Because you're reading Christian commentaries.
Yeah.
You know, I got into this argument with this guy named Outside the Cube. He says, I felt like you lost the Pastor Bennett debate when you all debated, is Jesus unique? So instead of arguing with this guy, I said, what does the word unique mean? Can you give me a definition for the word unique? And he would not do it. And I says, can you just give me a definition that disqualifies the definition that I have given? He wouldn't do it. I said, because you know, if you read the definition, it disqualifies your opinion on the debate, and it proves that what I presented in the debate was correct. He can be compared to many other deities that existed before him. Jesus is not unique. He said, well, then he switched it and said, well, what makes him unique is he did all of these at one time, all these miracles at one time. I said, so did Heru. So did Azar. I was just all like, so what are you talking about? The very birth narrative comes from the birth of Azar. You understand what I'm saying? And I was just all like, what are you talking about? And I showed it to him. This Jesus is unique because Jews wrote it. No, because he could still be compared and drawn in parallel to other gods. It's like you can't get around that. And I remember sometimes you hear the
brother.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Is there any chance you use your webcam? Is it possible?
Yeah, let me turn it on. I'm getting ready for work here. That's why I'm just getting ready for work.
Okay, just continue. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm getting ready for work here. So what ends up happening here is, you know, it's me. You know what I'm saying? You know who it is. But what I was trying to sit up there and say is, and what do you mean? Can you elaborate that they have to do all these things? All these gods have to do all these things at one time. Jesus didn't do all these miracles at one time. What type of talking point is this?
Talking points is unique because all these other deities, they didn't do all this list, but you know, saying each and every single thing that you have in the Bible, we find it there. We can see inspiration and influence, you know. And you know what you said about the debate. Let's presume someone, whether he has a PhD or master's degree or no degree at all, let's presume he does 20 debates, he loses all the 20 debates. And when I say losing, the people vote and there's more vote that goes to his opponent. But he wrote one book or a few books. And in his books, the information is accurate and sourced. Then he's the guy who's sharing, who's having the scientific method, the proper methodology, and sharing good information.
Right.
Because when Dr. Wesley Muhammad debated with Natural Tahuti, who is incarcerated and it's been so long now, you know, he showed a box that is located in the Cairo Museum. They might have moved it to the new museum that's going to open real soon. I've seen it from my own eye when I went to Kemet 10 years ago. But before I've seen it from my own eyes, I've seen all the parts. On one hand, you see Tutankhamun fighting the Nubians. That's the depiction that Wesley Muhammad used to show like black on black crime, because he never missed an opportunity to vilify Kemet. And he's equating that with people accusing the Muslims of enslaving Africans, which is a historical fact, and that lasted for over 1,000 years, over a millennia, and it is still going on in many places. So that single conflict between the ancient Egyptians and the Nubians, he's using that to brush off a millennium of sub-Saharan Muslim Arab slave trade. But on the
still
other
goes on
side,
to this day.
Yes, still this day it happens in some places, you know. On the other side, you have Tutankhamun and his army attacking, or maybe he's by himself, but attacking the Asiatics. He did not show that because once again, a letter was intercepted where some Asiatics, some I think they were Hyksos, Hekachasut. They asked the Nubians to ally themselves against Kemet. So we have that record. That record exists. Maybe there's other stuff that we don't have any records for, but that the ancient Egyptians knew. Ramses II, he married a Nubian lady, you know. And the other example in that same debate, I don't know if Natural Tahuri said that we have mentions of Osar before Allah, or if somebody else. But West Muhammad said, well, some people say, you know, we have those Kemetic deities. I'm paraphrasing, you know, before Allah and so on. And what did he do? He showed the oldest mention of Osir or Osiris. You know, so we can see the eye and the throne, and maybe the determinative of seated person or seated man with a beard. But he showed that. He says this is the oldest depiction. So it's like, you know, the oldest known at the time. You know, I don't mind if some other artifacts was found after that. You know, and then he says here, Allah. But when you look at the screen, he says Il, I-L. That's the Canaanite deity El. That's not Allah. This is
right.
But when people say that, they're clapping. They're like, "Oh man, look at this! He showed Allah before." That's not Allah. That's El. That's the Canaanite deity. And for those who don't know, Allah, West Muhammad wrote it himself in his book, the Book of God, Third Revised Edition. Same book where he said that one of the Nation of Islam scientists is a prophet of evil, and even though he's a male, he's called Cassandra. Look up the video. Nation of prophet of evil, Nation of Islam scientist. So in that same book, Western Muhammad said, and I hope it's that book, but I have the quote, I've shown it before. Western Muhammad himself said it, and it's not some rocket science. Allah is the contraction of al, the particle, the equivalent of the in English, and Ilah, which means God. Allah literally means the God. So Ilah, I-L, that's what he showed. The supreme Canaanite deity El. But I will leave it there. And people are impressed. But you see, when people have debates, it's good for people to check the sources and what was said and then make up their own mind. So it doesn't matter too much if someone is seen as the victorious guy after a debate. The overall premise, does it stand? Does it make sense? And mark my words, if the debate happened, you will see Garfield addressing many points that Jabari never made. So he's going to address some points that some Kemetic people make. He will not name them. And he will also address a lot of points that the Christians make against the Kemetic people's stance, you know. But I will leave it there.
Yeah, one of the things I want to kind of like touch on is what you were saying. When people say Allah was in Egypt, the first thing I would like to ask them is, well, Allah does not come around until the Prophet Muhammad shows up. So that's game over right there, because he was the one who spoke about, you know, another prophet that can't write or read.
You know, sorry to interrupt, brother, but mind you, and Western Muhammad has said that. If you say that, they're going to say, well, you know what the Prophet Muhammad's father's name was? He had Abdullah in his name. And Abdullah, Abid is slave of Allah. So they will tell you, no, Allah existed before, but he just existed along with the other deities that were found in the Kaaba.
Whether it's La or Iya or however it is, people want to play linguistic gymnastics with this stuff. It's all signifying the moon energy. That's all.
They're getting away from that, you know, because it's not convenient, you know. It's not convenient.
Well, it's the truth, and the truth doesn't need to be convenient. This is why you see a lot of their festivals or a lot of their symbolism. First thing you find or see in it or notice in it is the moon. When you read the Hebrews, they are a moon cult. That's why all of their holidays are based on the movement of what? The moon. So I would have just told Wesley Muhammad that. Who was the first one to prophesy about Allah? Other than that, no one knew about him. What you're doing is you're creating a lot of anecdotal talking points based on false conclusions or your misunderstanding of ancient languages. And it's really not fair. But unfortunately, in the community, there's no one there to check him before he comes forth with this garbage.
Well, but to toot my own horn, I checked him. The video actually is on Brother Onk's channel, Onkake. And he says, Shaka Nugu Kemet checking Dr. Wesley Muhammad. And it's in the time where, you know, we had some time limit, so you have like 5 or 6 parts, you know. And he kind of responded to that. He said, oh, he didn't do nothing. All he did is use sound bites and whatever. But later on, he challenged me to a debate. I accepted, and then he backed down. He knew it was going to be a hard day for him, you know. And, you know, I like what you said about the moon, because, brothers and sisters, please take the time to go to some museum and go to the section about the Levant. When you will see those Sumerian artifacts, those artifacts from Iraq, Mesopotamia, all these areas of the Levant, the Near East, the Middle East, many times, if they have ancient artifacts, you will see the moon, the sun, the moon, the sun. Many times you will see the moon by itself, and you will see them with long beards. They're not much different than how they used to be back then, you know. So it looks like my battery, because I'm in the car, I cannot charge, so I'm gonna lose battery, so I'm gonna try to conclude. So please, brother, feel free to make your closing remarks, brother.
Dagger Squad, y'all chief speaker is Garfield the Great. He lying to y'all. Y'all gonna be proselytizing Christians in a minute. Like, none of his argumentation makes any sense. It makes 0 sense. And I'm with Jabari on this one. The arguments that he makes are some of the poorest arguments that anyone, and I mean anyone, should be making. Ooh, that's the thing about a 2-door car, damn Mustangs, that anybody should be making. No one should be making these type of arguments. You can't say the Hebrews didn't exist, Abraham didn't exist, then try and throw Jesus in there. That is bringing confusion. You are bringing forth a lot of confusion, and I'll continue to call you out on that. I've been trying to call you out on a debate on that, because Jesus never existed. He was a conglomerate of many different deities found at that time that was put together at many of the ecumenical councils in with them Romans and with them Greeks. It's the bottom line. Okay, easily proven. So with that being said, yep, there's my closing remarks. I want to see how Garfield gonna get out of this debate against Jabari. I want to see how he gonna get out of this one. You know what I'm saying? So peace, brother Chaka.
Peace, brother. Thanks a lot for calling, brother MVP Harris. Oh, have my brother Blaya now. Because my battery, I'm in my car, I cannot charge. My battery is gonna go up. I want to show you briefly. I hope it's gonna come up for me. The Himba people. You see, and first I was gonna show you pictures, but you see here they are in Namibia. They are in Namibia, and they color themselves with some red substance. So where people say those guys, those people, they were not black, and amongst the Himba people, Himba, it seems like it's more the woman who do it. You see, so all you need to do is to type Himba. Now those are pictures, but we have hopefully videos. Yeah, there it is. So you see their whole body covered with that. It's, I don't know if it's ochre, I don't know if it's red ochre, but that substance is a reddish color. Now later on, we have some people, and I'm not going to leave it alone because some you might be labeled nudity or whatever. You know, but they are usually, you know, not covered around the chest area, you know. Who's gonna say, oh, those Himbas, they were Caucasians, they were not black Africans? You see, in Kenya, you have some people who use also that red coloring, but I don't know the name of their tribe, you know, red. My battery is going to die on me. And somebody, I read somewhere, there's another country in Africa where they use that as well. But this is, I think, a great analogy. You know, we have the ancient Egyptians. People focus on the red because the red ochre, but they're not dealing with the dark brown coloring. Now, Haile Maria is confirming that it is the red ochre. I cannot put words in his mouth, but probably he's talking about the Himba people, you know. But anyway, so Brother Chief X, we had a good build. If you are interested, let me know. Leave it.
Can you hear me, brothers and sisters? I'm using my mobile phone now. And it will allow me to go through the comments. Please let me know, brothers and sisters, if you can hear me loud and clear. Just type in loud and clear, or I can hear you, or the sound is okay. Can you hear me, brothers and sisters? Thank you, Blaya. That's great. So I will be able to go through the comments. So, Brother Chief X, you know, if you are available, it will be good for us to talk. And it's not a debate. You know, I ain't going to be like, oh, you know, I want to debate. No, you know, you have an opposite view, and that's fine. As long as we talk about it, it is good, you know. But I would like you to try to consider, and plus you have the link to the Theban mapping project, and I expect that you will probably look for the artifacts where they don't have the dark skin, you know, and it's fine if you can do that. Then we might even try to figure out why, on some instances, they have dark skin, and in some instances, they have light skin. Who knows? Who knows? I mean, I could come up with some hypotheses, but, you know, I could say that maybe the black was preserved for other instances, and it will focus more on the red ochre. Maybe it's because the red ochre was abundant in Egypt, you know. And in my video, Kemet and Ma'at, I quote some scholar, I mean, some person in the book that says that, you know. I think the first name is James, but I forgot the James Bronson, maybe, you know. But he's there, you know. I've quoted the book, and I think I gave you the page number. Brothers and sisters, if you have not seen the video of Kemet and Ma'at, really, you're sleeping. It's 45 minutes long. I've been in this for a while, and I wasn't carrying bags. I wasn't making tea and coffee for scholars, you know. I did some research. And that video, Kemet and Ma'at, has over 300,000 views. Actually, I think it's 398,000 views. So soon it will be 400,000 views. And remember, in 2016, it had 300,000 views, and then I had to start from scratch. So now it has close to 400,000 views. So if we make the calculation, but some people might disagree, but we could say it probably would have had at least 600,000 views by now. Or who knows, maybe it would have reached 1 million. But it's okay. It's the past. Let's deal with the present and prepare the future. You know, some people want to make you think that I'm lightweight. You know, they try to say I'm irrelevant. I saw one dude, you know, that dude, I shared the link yesterday, you know. He said, oh, your Arabic is horrible. You know, I never claimed to be fluent in Arabic, but I dealt with the Arabic term in that article, which is on my website. And if he wants to try to refute it, he can be my guest. He will never be able to do that. So he put up Lane's lexicon. I used Lane's lexicon, and I refuted him. I haven't heard from him ever since. Good morning, the Pharaohist. I've received your second email, but I did not have a look at the logo, because I saw you wrote the logo is missing. You know, you have the preview when you receive the email. And I can't wait to start the classes with you, my sister.
I just love it so much. I love teaching the nature so much, you know. And the people who take the classes, they are interested. They are interested because they pay for the class, you see. So it's just lovely, you know. I'm really looking forward to it, you know. So whenever you know your availability, I would just love, you know, to go through the nature with you. Brothers and sisters, if you didn't know, I'm giving nature classes. I've been doing this for a few years. And I would love to teach it to y'all. And if you know Jabari, and Jabari, you know, wouldn't mind me giving him lessons, then I'll be more than happy to do so. You know? Because, you know, with these 3 weeks left, I could help him get to a very good level. He will surprise many. Now, I think it's safe for me to go to the comments now. But, you know, Chief X, you have that tool at your disposal so you can see some original artifacts. There will not be many statues. The statues are mainly in museums around the world, but we will have a lot of, you know, war depictions. So now, I think I've said everything I wanted to. Was longer than I expected, but it's okay. You know, some people do 8-hour, 10-hour live streams, you know? And instead of just dealing with the information, I have to deal with people insulting me, using profanity, because I am an obstacle to their narrative. It's a shame. And once again, I read some comments. Someone said that Ankh got at Reggie for what he said. And you have to respect that. See, Ankh is the one who publicly apologized for what happened when, you know, the brothers went at me. And all I did was a video. And it's the one called White Semites Black Awakening. I didn't even talk about them. I disassociated myself from the team back then, the Amun Ra squad. I went my way, did my thing, and then they attacked me. So, you know, he publicly apologized, and I respect him for that, you know. And if he went at Reggie, it means that, you know, he's just not being biased, you know. Some people like to be neutral all the way. But, you know, being neutral, let's say we are 3 brothers. I'm brother C, there's brother A, that slaps brother B. So I'm going to break the 2 of them so they don't fight. And I'm going to say, oh, I'm neutral. You brothers get it together. It's brother A that slapped brother B. So Jesus Price wrote that he will check the link of me and Chief X having a conversation, and that was on Smash Rockwell's platform. I think I've read that I am that I am. Oh, I am that I am. I don't know if you had a chance, but I've shown, and it's from the tomb of Seti the First, the Book of Heavenly Cow. Some people call it the Destruction of Mankind. I've shown a text that is translated as I am who I am. And I am who I am is translated as such like 38 times, if I remember correctly, in different English translations of the Bible. And 11 times, if I'm not mistaken, it is translated as I am that I am. But on the wall in the tomb of King Seti the First, the Egyptologist Wente, that's his surname, his last name, Wente, he translated Iue im as I am who I am. Those who wonder where it is, you see my URL, that's my website. You just add /Bible at the end, AFROSTYLY.com/Bible. I have 3 parallels of ancient Egyptian texts that we ultimately find in some shape or form in the Bible. And I'm planning on doing more. But in the meantime, you know, people call me out my name and then act like I'm the aggressor. So I have to address it so it's documented and then I can keep it pushing. But people shouldn't take a habit of thinking that they can disrespect me and not face any repercussions, you know. Because I've been watching what's happening in the conscious community, and we are not used to people saying F you, F you, F you. Especially not those who claim to be scholars and who claim to have worked with the greats. When so far, what did they do with the greats? Besides holding their bag, their coat, their umbrella, getting them drinks
food, coffee, tea, driving them around. He was a chauffeur. He was a driver. He was a butler. He was a secretary. But maybe it's not because of that that we should revere him. It's because he's 57 years old. He's the only, damn near only elder that we have in the conscious community. Obi-Wan Kenobi wrote, a lot of lower Egyptians had Caucasoid skull shapes, but they weren't Caucasian, meaning from the Caucasus Mountain. You know, I personally, and I'm not an anthropologist, I'm not convinced about if the shape of the skull has that diameter, then we're dealing with a white man. And if he has that diameter, we're dealing with a black man, or they might not use white and black. They might use Caucasian or European or Mediterranean. And then if the skull has that shape, then we're dealing with a sub-Saharan person. I'm not really convinced when it comes to that. Chief X said that there's no DNA reports that indicates that the ancient Egyptians were of sub-Saharan descent. And he rejected what Ned and Neb has presented. So Ned and Neb, if he hears that, or if you know Ned and Neb, then let him know. You know, what I have seen is that every so often we have some reports say, okay, well, you know, we took some samples, and you know, the ancient Egyptians, you know, they were, you know, Mediterranean, they were not, you know, and then some other people will say, well, you know, there are so many percent Black African or sub-Saharan African, you know. So I don't even think there will ever be a consensus on that, you know. But it's funny though, we do have the visual evidence. Ludacris he's black, right? We have people way darker than Ludacris, but for a strange reason, they are not black. How would a mountain dweller be in ancient Africa? Lower Egypt was flooded by Eurasian coming in. Upper Kemet, Upper Egypt, was the African interior beginning in the Sudan area of the second cataract of the Nile, with Lower Kemet, Lower Egypt, starting at the Nile Delta all the way up to the border. And you know, there's a page I remember now, and I would have, even if I had the battery, I would have forgotten, you know, or maybe not. Go on Wikipedia. I will not be able to share because I have my mobile phone. Go on Wikipedia and type in Coptic language. And Smash Rockwell has shown that. Look at Coptic language and look at origin. You know, the first tab. You will see the full name of the Coptic language in the Coptic language. And they will tell you that the word Rome or Romi is the word for people. Guess which word Rome or Romi derives from? Remech. The same Remech that we had for the ancient Egyptians when they had way darker skin tone than pale individuals, and when they had the same skin tone as the Nubians from the tomb of Ramesses III. This is inconvenient to some people. So some people like to talk about Eurocentrists and Afrocentric or Afrocentrists, you know. Let's deal with the facts. Let's deal with the facts, period. So we need people in academia to fight those battles. But the scholars that we have, the PhDs that we have, some people with no credentials in academia have the nerve to say that they are wrong. We don't respect our scholars. We don't respect our scholars. Nejaneb is studying linguistics formally. Formally. You see? And he's surrounded with people that have several degrees and credentials, i.e., Dr. Obadele Campbell, PhD in linguistics. Smash has shown several conversations he had with another PhD in linguistics. you know? So consult the specialists. And Tasseti is the first sepat or nome of ancient Egypt. We had some narratives, but if we are familiar with the information and we have knowledge of the language, we can take things far. And now we have more access to those tombs, you know? So Obi-Wan said, you don't disagree, just confused. I don't know who he's talking to or what it's about. I am that I am wrote, Black Africans continued to rule Kemet exclusively until 1650 BCE when the Hyksos from Asia invaded and conquered Kemet, which resulted in a period of cultural decline and the second intermediate period. Yes, indeed, for about 100 years or maybe up to 150 years, the Hyksos or Heka Hasut ruled some part of Kemet, not the whole of Kemet, but you know, their base or capital was in the north, in the Delta region, the place called Avaris. I am that I am wrote, I'm sure I'm confused when I know that cave dwellers of the Caucasus Mountain never existed in ancient Africa. Obi-Wan replies, I know Kemet is Black African. Chill, law. The pharaonic culture comes out of Napata, so it's obvious. I am that I am wrote, then why the hell would you say them cave dwellers were in southern part of Kemet? The continent map of Africa had been turned upside down. For those who don't know, the people of Kemet used to view at least the continent or their location, but we could say the world the other way around because the Nile flows south to north, you see. Noir Manoir wrote, of the infamous Ramesses diagram, the races known to the Egyptians that Egyptology wishes was never dug out the ground. I'm sure that many just, you know, like, damn, man, we should have been more careful with that, you know? And nobody will say that Champollion was an Afrocentrist or Afrocentric or African-centered. Nobody will say that. But in one of those depictions, that's why Champollion, when he saw one of those depictions, he first spoke about one and he said, well, the ancient Egyptians and Nubians, you know, they're not portrayed exactly the same way. There's no doubt that we're dealing with the Negroes, you know. That's the term that was used before, you know. But later on, he says about another depiction, the ancient Egyptians and the Nubians are portrayed in the same way or same matter. And in parentheses, he says, which could not be otherwise. Jean-Francois Champollion, the guy who deciphered the hieroglyphics, but they're not going to quote that often. And furthermore, when he described the Indo-Europeans, he said, real savages. Champollion said that about his own people, about his own kind. Which some people say that Champollion was on the low Champollion X, and he followed the teachings of Elijah Far Muhammad. Nobody would say that. Nobody would say that he was anti-white. But he made a description of the depictions that he has seen. Those guys with tattoos, real savages. I'm ashamed to say it, but it is us. But at least, and I'm paraphrasing right now, at least he shows how far we have gone. So that white dude on TikTok who was making fun, is a French speaker, probably from France, making fun of people arguing that the ancient Egyptians were Black. I hollered at him. And I stated that for the record after I shown the wall painting of Amenhotep III. And I said, we can talk about Herodotus as well, who described the ancient Egyptians as Black. So he probably looked it up and said, oh man, damn, I didn't know Champollion said that. I'm going to be quiet now. I haven't heard from the dude ever since. Arm yourself with knowledge, brothers and sisters. So this is the kind of quotes from Herodotus and Champollion that enable Dr. Shekhar Diop, along with Dr. Theophilo Benga, to be prevalent. What they have done is an incredible act. They went against fellow scholars, man, And back then, there was a narrative that was established. Some people think that the Afro-Asiatic language phylum or language group, or however you want to call it, some people think it's established. Anyway. Obi-Wan Kenobi wrote, Chief X is an emotional pseudo. Well, when I spoke to him, he wasn't emotional. But there's another brother, the bag carrier, the suitcase carrier, the coffee maker, tea maker. He seemed very emotional. I Am That I Am wrote, Obi, never forget that it was when we were Moors. Oh, here we go. African Moors who brought the cave dwellers from the Caucasus Mountains, shaved them, bathed them, cleaned them, cultured, educated, / civilized them. I don't agree with that, but that's going to be another discussion. The black Moors who civilized and conquered Europe is one of the greatest hoax. It's one of the greatest hoax. I would like to see those black rulers. I would like to have their name, and I would like to see depictions of them. Once again, even in the book Golden Age of the Moor, many times you see people who are labeled Moors and you see them among white-skinned people. But anyway, Noir Manoir wrote, this is a door opened by Diop that was never seized upon by his black successors. We had enough and certainly have enough now to make a real case for a black Egypt. Is just nobody is doing it. Well, a lot of people are doing it. I've been going to these museums for a long time, And I didn't want to say it, but let's say that I'm planning on officially entering the field. I will leave it there. And I did not make that decision just now, yesterday, or 2 weeks ago. So when I say the field, I think people don't have to make any wild guesses about which field that may be. And when I say I'm planning, maybe I've started the process and I'm waiting for everything to be official. Really, in the first place, I was waiting to have some degree. But if that can encourage some young brothers and sisters, to take that path, then that would be good. That would be useful. I Am That I Am wrote towards Noir, they're afraid that we'll discover that Pharaoh Ramesses is an original man, an African. And he also added, there was no Europe, and when there came Europe, it was created by the same African Moors. Oh, my brother. Oh, my brother. The cave dwellers from the Caucasus Mountains were the ancestors of the European who are physical beings. Price wrote, hi, the current, what is it? Okay. Price wrote that his handle is sarcasm. He said that he cannot stand Garfield, the female cat. And he also added, that was funny though. Obi-Wan Kenobi wrote some glyphs. And, well, I'm not, he said, Egyptian tomb of Ramesses facsimile. Now the glyphs, that's fine. That's the image. But the transliteration here, no. That would be RM, then the capital T. The capital T, that's the MDC, manual decodage. But that's a bit technical, Now, as for the I.E, I don't know what it stands for. And same here, the glyphs are the same. But here we have R, like this will be pronounced Rechu, but it's Remech, R, M, and then the capital T or the T underline according to the transliteration. But, it's a bit technical for most people. But if anybody wants to learn the Meta Nature, I'm giving classes and I'll be glad. I'll be more than happy to go through all of this. But those glyphs are correct. That's Remech. It spells Remech. Obi wrote, my theory is Ramesses did that on purpose because he was aware of where his culture came from. Now I said Ramesses, he says Ramsey, but I presume he meant Ramesses. And Price wrote that he will have to cash the playback. Obi-Wan wrote the Kushites' capital. And here we have a correction. It was indeed Ramesses, venerated god Amun, who he knows come from Napata. A lot of people say we have more pyramids in Nubia than in Egypt, but those pyramids are way more recent. The pyramids of the Giza Plateau is circa 2000 BC, probably 22,000. 2200, maybe 2400, but it's at least 2000 years old BC. So it's 4,000 years old, at least. Obi-Wan wrote, yes, Ramesses did that on purpose. I wrote up something going into detail about the similarities between the 19th dynasty Ramesside rulers and the 25th dynasty Kushite kings. Cody, the XL bully, wrote they have small statues of the same relief in the British Museum. You should be able to find it on the website. Missy Bawa-Ken wrote the conscious community is a joke. I remember when she wrote that, that's when brother Chris MVP Harris came on and he was saying, similar statements towards the conscious community. Missy Bawa-Ken added they are paid agents for the government. I wouldn't say that, but I wouldn't be surprised if some of them are being paid. So once again, the good brother Blaya, Hotep sent E. And that's it. Oh, Imhotep 360, how are you, my good brother? See, when we spoke, people can go and have a look. At some point you will interject, you will cut me off. At some point I interjected, I cut him off. Nobody said, you know what, F you. That's disrespectful. Thank you for being there, brothers and sisters. We have 16 people watching the live stream, even though in America it's quite early right now. It's the morning, at least in New York, and somebody said that I only have 10 people watching my live streams, and I haven't paid anybody to appear on my platform. I didn't pay any Europeans to come on my platform, contrary to some other people. So thank you for being there. Thank you for all the comments. If anybody has any questions or comments, you are free to make them in the chat, or you are free to get on the panel, because usually I share the invite link or call-in link, which allow you to get on the platform, just like Chris MVP Harris did. But my only requirement is that you show your face. So if you don't want to, for whatever reason, then you can use the chat. As you see, I have this habit of going through the statements made in the chat, but I prefer the interaction. I prefer that people call in, even if you don't have a question or statement, because I don't mind if you agree or disagree. We can always dialogue. But if you want to holler and say what's up, it would be a good look. It will encourage some brothers and sisters to say, well, the brother, he gets some love. People appreciate his work. So, you can start taking that habit. Say, I just want to say what's up. I appreciate your work. Keep up the good work. Whatever you want to say. As if some of you that dislike me, you want to say, I hate on you, dog. Man, I hate on you, crazy, man. You can come and say, just don't come here using so much profanity, just get it off your chest. I came to tell you that I hate on you, man. I don't like the way you get down. Your methodology is disrespectful. So if one of you come and say some good message, feel free. Now I'm getting a call for a good brother, so I'm going to take it. I'm going to put the outro. Stay safe, stay healthy. And if I'm allowed to by the Necheru, I will definitely holler back at you. Hotep.
Now, for the record, for those who don't know, I'm giving Middle Nature classes. And here, that's the flyer. Okay? So, those who are interested, feel free to holler at me. If you're not interested, it's cool. But I recommend that everybody who has not yet seen the video, Kemet and Ma'at, before Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, then watch it. It has about 300,000 views and really deserves to have a lot more.
I just want to let everyone know who's listening in now and who's going to listen to this stream in the future. I just had my first Meta Nature class by Brother Shaka today, and I've had other meta-nature lessons by other teachers, and I can tell you right now, the brother is the best in the game. He is, that was one of the best classes I've ever had, ever. So if you're interested in learning the meta-nature, if you're interested in getting the basics of it, Brother Shaka is an awesome teacher. Get with him, and it's extremely affordable. This brother is giving us his time and his skills, and he's basically giving it away. I mean, I just consider it a donation. You know what I'm saying? So if anybody's interested in learning the meta-nature, get with this brother right here. He's an awesome, awesome, awesome teacher. And I'll end with that.
Hotep Senu, Hena Senut. This is Julie, also known as Servant of Yah, and I'm currently taking the Medu-Nature classes with Brother Shaka, and it has been an amazing experience. Only 2 lessons so far, and I feel like I've been taking the classes for months, just with the how in depth he goes into the vocabulary words, the construction of the language, the grammar. It's been immeasurable, the experience. And one thing that comes across, hands down, is his extreme passion for teaching this to anyone who is willing to learn and has an interest in learning. So I highly suggest, if you are interested, even a minimal interest, that you subscribe to the classes with Brother Shaka. It's such a nominal amount for how much you get. I know, like, our last class was over 2.5 hours. It felt like 2 minutes, but because that's how, involved you are in what he's teaching and how he teaches and how compassionate he is about what he teaches. Also with sharing materials free of charge, no question, no doubt. It's just what he does. He doesn't have to, but he does. And so I just wanted to give a short testimonial about the class and the effectiveness of the class, and all of that is attested to how studied Brother Shaka is. So I highly recommend anyone with a minimal interest that you do sign up for the Medu-Nature class. Hotep.
Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, which is Ma'at Forever. Don't forget to watch the video entitled Kemet and Ma'at. Don't forget to share Kemet and Ma'at on my channel on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, or other social media that you use. Email, text messages, you name it. Those who wish to donate can do so on paypal.me/ma'atforever.